Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, Mr. SK, all day, Scrappy KILMORE. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to be doing a Twitter Q&A. Now, I've had people ask me questions on Twitter. I'm going to answer them as honestly as I can. And hopefully this gets me a little more involved in the community and lets everybody know, I'm not like these big YouTubers. I notice a lot of these guys, they don't interact with the people who watch their videos. People are making them, a lot of them, multi-millionaires, and they don't interact with them. They don't care. I care about my community, the people that watch my videos. I wouldn't be doing this. My whole thing is to entertain people. I like to entertain people. So with that being said, don't forget while you're here, if you like the content you're seeing, hit that like button. Comment, let me know what you think, and if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. Now, let's jump into this Twitter Q&A. First things first, we're going to jump into a speed round with Nathix. He gave me a bunch of questions to answer, so let's get into them. First question, what is your favorite color? Well, I actually have two favorite colors. Green is one of my favorite colors, and my other favorite color is red. For some reason, I've always loved those two colors. Maybe lean a little more towards red, but I like both of those colors. Okay. Question number 2. How do you hang your toilet paper? The correct way or the wrong way? Well, my man, there's only one answer to that question. There is no wrong way. It's, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. It's all the same thing. But to answer your question more accurately, the situation I'm at right now, the place I'm renting, they don't have, it's very primitive. They don't have the dispenser on the wall that you put the toilet paper roll on. So, thankfully, how am I going to put this? Our counter, our bathroom counter is right by the toilet. So we can keep it right there and it's in arm's reach so we don't have to be completely uncivilized and drag our butts across the carpet like dogs. So we're able to wipe, it's fine. Alright, question number 3. Do you have any pets? And if not, what would you like to have? Yes, I do have a pet. I have a dog. Her name is Chloe. She is 11 years old, I think. I've had her since she's a puppy. Since I've been on the road, my sister has been taking care of her for me because I don't know if the places I'm going to go are going to allow dogs or not. So my sister takes care of her for me, but she is my little heartbeat. I do love that dog. She's my baby. I've been raising her, like I said, for 11 years. So I do have a dog. I'm really a dog guy. So that would be, if I didn't have one and I wanted one, it would be a dog. I'm a dog person. So that answers that question. Number 4. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live and why? Well, first of all, your question is not as clear as I would like it to be. So I'm going to answer it 2 ways. First of all, if I could live anywhere in the world and why, it would be where I live. I live in New Orleans. To me, there's no place like New Orleans in the world. I mean, New Orleans is a very unique place. It's a very, very great place. If you have not been to New Orleans, I suggest you go. Check it out, man. It's a beautiful city. But, now if you excluded my birthplace, the place where I live, I would have to say probably England. London, England. I don't know, man. It's just something about England. It's always intrigued me. It looks like a very beautiful city. It looks like a place, I've always wanted to go maybe spend a year abroad and live in London. But unfortunately, life takes us in other directions. So, that would be my place if it wasn't for home. So hopefully that answers your question. What made you decide to switch over from your first channel to this one? Well, for those of you who don't know, I have another YouTube channel. It's called Scale Auto Customizer. What I do on that channel is I build plastic model cars. It's been a hobby of mine since I was 13 years old, on and off since I was 13 years old. It's not necessarily that I wanted to switch over. It's more the fact that, it's like that old saying, God laughs the hardest when people say they have plans, because you don't plan life. Life plans you, unfortunately, So that's a hobby that takes up a lot of time. I mean, a lot of time. And, the type of builder I am, I hardly ever build anything out the box, like the way it's supposed to be on the box, hence the name Scale Auto Customizer. I do a lot of customizing, build a lot of stuff, And man, just building one of those kits could take me over 2 months. If I dedicated every day to it, it could take over 2 months. And it's actually a very expensive hobby. You know, like I said, I buy all kind of custom parts. I make all kind of custom parts. So I buy a lot of plastic stock and stuff like that. So I mean, you could easily spend $150 between paints, models, you know, and all the stuff to do it. So it's a very expensive hobby. But like I said, mainly the problem is just, you know, life. You know, sometimes you can dedicate more time to one thing than the other. You know, and like I said, you've seen some of my videos before on my other channel. I haven't posted one in like 2 months because I've been really, really busy at work, and between the time I'm spending at work, I don't have time to juggle 2 hobbies or 2 channels right now. So I'm focusing more on this one, trying to grow an audience on this one. And you know, when I slow down a little bit at work, get a little bit more time, I'm going to go back to going back and forth like I was here just a couple of months ago. It's like I said, it's all timing. So it's not really that I switched over to channels. It's just trying to run 2 of them at this point in my life right now is a little bit harder than I like it to be. So I try not to make things hard. Okay. Question number 6. If you could spend the day with any historical figure, who would it be and why? That's a good question. That's a really, really good question. I think if I had to choose, I would probably go with Albert Einstein. See, I'm the type of person, I like to learn. I like to learn about people. I like to learn about history. I like to learn about as much stuff as I possibly can. Now, the reason I would choose Einstein, never mind the fact that he's probably one of the greatest minds of all time. You know, everybody knows he's a genius. So much so that his name is synonymous with genius, you know. But just because a lot of people don't know about Einstein, he quit, I guess you would say high school, at 15 years old. Not because he couldn't pass, which is a common misconception. You know, everybody said he failed. It wasn't that he failed. He quit school because he didn't like the way school was taught. School was actually taught, and still to this day it is, taught as a system of memorization. He didn't like the fact that you weren't supposed to question things. You were supposed to accept 2 + 2 is 4, and that's it. He didn't like that. He questioned everything. That's why. Hope that answers your question. If you could travel back in time, what time would you go to? I think I would go to the medieval times. I want to see if all the stuff we see on Game of Thrones was actually correct. You know, but I'd make sure if I did, I would have some kind of way to bring a gun. So that way if they come at me with swords, you know, I can shoot the ground and let them know, hey, I got this magic, back up, you know. So, yeah, I think I would like to go back to the medieval times and just see how people lived, you know. It's so hard for us to try and comprehend. You know, it's so easy for us to go hit a light switch. You know, back then it was actually to light a room or to light an area, it was actual work. You know, you had to build a fire and all that stuff. So I think I would want to check out civilization before technology. That would be my big thing. That's something I think would be cool. Final question from Nathix. How do you pronounce wrestling? I pronounce it wrestling. I don't say wrestling, you know, yeehaw and none of that. I say wrestling. And I'm not as big of a wrestling fan as I used to be, which I actually haven't watched wrestling in years. I used to like it WCW days when there was NWO. That's about the last time I watched wrestling, but it's wrestling. It's not wrestling. It's not wrestling, you know, any of that. It's wrestling. Okay, next questions come from Happy in Love 33. And now, for those of you who don't know, this is my girlfriend. This is the better half of Gaming with Baby. When I play with my girlfriend, this is Baby. First question she asks is, how do you feel when you're making videos, and which videos do you have the most fun doing? Now see guys, I'm going to talk to y'all before I talk to her. I'm a good boyfriend, so I know what to say right here. But I'm not going to lie, because I'm a good boyfriend. I have a ton of fun making Gaming with Baby videos. Matter of fact, Baby was a little bummed out because, you know, if you run a YouTube channel, you know when you're starting out, your videos will fluctuate. You'll get a lot of views on one, some will drop, you know, and my videos have been fluctuating lately. So Baby kind of felt like, you know, oh, if she's in it and it didn't get a lot of views, it's her fault. That's not the case at all, and I don't think so. I don't believe so, and I don't care if it is the case. I'm going to do what I want to do. So I have a lot of fun doing those videos. My absolute favorite videos I have the most fun doing, though, is, I would say, commentaries. Like my video I did, what was it? God, I guess it was a couple months back now, when the YouTube ad boycott first, you know, took effect. And it was before it was called the Adpocalypse. I did a video explaining what it was. I did the research. See, that's the kind of things that's fun to me. And baby, you know this. My brain never shuts off. I'm always... That's maybe why I run 2 YouTube channels, why I'm always fidgeting with games, and why I'm always trying to fix like games with the retro repairs and stuff like that. I'm always moving. My mind is always moving. So I like doing stuff like that, researching. You know, I research how much money YouTube would lose, how much money Google would lose. You know, stuff like that really... It's something I've always liked. So when I have to research a video, you know, doing live comms is great. And another reason I like gaming with babies is because with my sense of humor, I play well off of other people. I'm still trying to find my humorous voice, if you will, solo on videos. But if I'm gaming with you, it makes it a little easier because I have you to play off of. You know what I mean? So that's another reason I like them. But as far as solo goes, the reason I like doing the commentaries the best is just because I like doing the research. I like putting real work into a video instead of just, you know, being spontaneous. Spontaneous is awesome, but I'd rather, you know, being a slight perfectionist, I would rather put the work in to make a perfect video. Next question she asks is, do you feel that people who just post random games are more interesting than the ones who only post COD videos? No, I don't. And here's why. Most of the people I watch on YouTube post only COD videos. Myself personally, I'm not one who really watches for the gameplay. I watch for what the person has to say, the person's personality. If that person can entertain me. If I wanted to be entertained by a video game, I would go play that video game. I'm watching videos for the person to entertain me. You know what I mean? And now whether that be from editing, you know, if they make montage videos, and if that video editing is on point to where they got the videos synced to the sound, and, you know, I know all that is a process. Coming from making music and now making videos and all that, that's all a process. That's very intricate stuff, and average people don't really realize what it takes to do that. So that fascinates me, and that keeps me interested. Like I said, it's all about the person. It's not the gameplay. It's about the content, you know. Basically, a video game ain't gonna make nobody's video. The person making the video games, you know, the person making the video can make the video game better. Okay. Last question she asked, how did you come up with the name Scrappy Kilmore? Well, about, how long ago was it? Heck, it might have been about a year ago. I was at work. Well, first let me go a little further back. This channel used to have a different name. It was Gravnola, Gravnola. Okay, and that stood for something to me. It stood for Gravity, New Orleans, Louisiana. You know, because I was known when I used to do music, my stage name was Gravity. You know, and I was from New Orleans, Louisiana. So that's what I had my gamer tag as on all my all my PlayStation, Xbox, all that. That's what this channel was named until it got to the point where people didn't really know how to pronounce it. You know, they were saying Gravenola or Granola. You know, they weren't really sure how to pronounce it. And I figured if I'm going to make a YouTube channel, I want something that's not only catchy, but something people will be able to actually pronounce. And when they pronounce it, they'll, you know, or when they first read it, they'll have something to go on. They'll have an easy way to remember it. So I was at work and I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about one of my all-time favorite movies, because I am a huge Adam Sandler fan. I love almost all his movies. But we were talking about Happy Gilmore, and for some reason that the title of the movie just kept popping in my head. Happy Gilmore, Happy Gilmore. I was like, well, I'm looking to change my name. Happy Kilmore would sound really cool. So this is like early in the morning too. So I'm having to sit here with this brewing in my head for about 10, 11, 12 hours, however many hours I worked that day. I'm sitting there waiting to go home to get on Xbox to check and see if Happy Gilmore was available. Get all the way home, check it out. No, Happy Gilmore is not available. Somebody already has that name. Somebody is smarter than you. Try again tomorrow. So I was like, well, shit. So I got to thinking about it. I was like, well, you know, I could do something that rhymes with happy and this and that. So I started throwing some things around, and I got to thinking about it. It was like Scrappy. And then I got to thinking about it. That's another Sandler movie too. So it's like a double-edged sword kind of deal. You know, it's a Sandler reference on both fronts. As a Happy Gilmore reference with the Scrappy and Kilmore part, but at the same time, if you ever seen You Don't Mess with the Zohan, which is another one of his funny movies that I really like, when he decides to fake his death and doesn't want to be the Zohan no more, he calls himself Scrappy Coco. So it's kind of a mixture between Scrappy Coco, Happy Gilmore, Scrappy Gilmore. That's how I come up with the name. And as a matter of fact, I have somebody, Mr. Latana Army, he's got an excellent channel. Check him out, guys. He's been doing this about as long as I have, and he's got 10 times more subs than me already. But he commented on one of my videos, the first time he ever seen one of my videos, and he said, to this day, and I remember, it's one of the coolest comments I've got. He said, with a name like Scrappy Gilmore, there's no way I cannot subscribe to you. And he subscribed to me. So, Latana, if you're watching this, man, I appreciate it, dude. That's one of the coolest comments I've got. Next up, we got one from OMG It's Geo. Alright. He says, your main thing you do Throwback Thursday with the old games is perfect. Not a lot of people do it. It should be your main focus. So my question is, how do you think you can take that and get it to the younger crowd who have never played them before? This is probably the toughest question I got on Twitter today. I really don't know if there is a way to get to the younger crowd or not. I mean, hopefully, you know, like my son, we just brought him home this past week. He was here for the summer. He's at that age now. He'll be 15 in a couple of weeks. So he's at that age where he thinks he's too cool for school, but at the same time he's not. You know, like he was making fun of the games. Like when I was playing Mario for Throwback Thursday a couple weeks ago, he was making fun of it. And then when I went to editing my video, he jumped on it, and he couldn't, you know, he couldn't hang with the old games because it's a total different type of game than they're used to now. So maybe the youngers will never catch on. Maybe they will. I'm hoping they will, because you got more and more of these old games coming out for like iOS and Android now. So hopefully their parents will download it, or they'll check it out and they'll get to play it. And, you know, if it catches on for the younger crowd, hey man, that's cool. You know, I really think they would enjoy these games if they gave the games a shot. But if not, you know, I mean, it just won't be my audience. You know what I mean? Basically, I'm just going to do what I like. You know, I'm not really concerned with growing a huge audience, because it's like there's something out there for everybody. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to find my audience. It may be a little harder. I may be hurting myself in the process by doing it the way I'm doing, but at the same time, man, I just want to entertain people. You know, so thanks for the question. All right. Next, we got from Dragon 1 Gaming. He says he wants to know my pros and cons on advanced movement versus boots on the ground. Here's my honest opinion. You said this on Twitter earlier, and I've been thinking about it all day, because it was a tough one, but I've been thinking about it. It's a catch-22. It's 50-50. If you got advanced movement, one of the pros, you could get yourself out of a bind real quick. If somebody's opening up on you, you can jump out the way, you know, maybe have a chance to turn around and kill them. That's a pro. One of the cons to it, now I'm talking about in Call of Duty, you know, not in like Titanfall, because to me that's a different animal. We'll get into that in another video. But one of the cons of it is people spamming it, you know, and I know you've seen it. Everybody who's played Call of Duty since they put the advanced movement in has seen people spam the boost jump, and it just gets to the point where it's unenjoyable, you know, a lot of the times. So I think that's a con. So I prefer boots on the ground, but a pro to boots on the ground is you're not going to be you're not going to have people spamming the jetpacks, but at the same time there's a con to that too, especially with a lot of the Call of Duty games. That's the time to kill. So though you can't boost jump to get out of the way or whatever, you can still 9 times out of 10 get a turnaround kill on somebody when they already put a half a clip into you. You know what I mean? Or you put a half clip into somebody and they turn around and kill you instantly. So it's a catch-22. It's going to be the same with or without. I prefer boots on the ground. So, I mean, that's my thoughts on that. Thanks for the question. Next up, we got a question from Ghost ID 656. He asks, well, it's a two-parter. He says, what's your favorite COD, and boots on the ground or jetpacking? Well, we just went over your second question. Boots on the ground. I definitely prefer boots on the ground when it comes to Call of Duty. You know, I'm an OG COD player. I've been playing for 9 years, and my favorite game is my very first COD, which is World at War. That's when I started playing it. I love the whole World War II aspect. I'm looking forward to World War II coming out this year, but I don't have high hopes because I don't forget that Sledgehammer produced the worst ever, period, Call of Duty, period, in the world, period. So I don't have high hopes for it, you know, but that whole World War II era, I'm a big fan of that, and World at War is my favorite Call of Duty. Boots on the ground, you know, that's what it is. Next question. It's a 3-parter from Sergeant Curry Pants. What is your fondest memory with gaming? Okay, my fondest memory, and I discussed this on my second, I think it was, Throwback Thursday video where I played Street Fighter 2. When I first moved to the neighborhood I've lived in since I was 10 years old, you know, I was the new kid, you know, and I met a guy down the street. He became one of my closest friends, more like a brother, and there was about 5 other guys. We would go over there every Saturday. Now, when I first met him, it was a Friday when we moved. He said, come by tomorrow morning. You know, Friday evening, he said, come by tomorrow morning. We all play video games. So I go over there, and we would all play Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo. And it was about 6 of us. 6 people that I didn't, 5 people, excuse me, that I didn't know. We took gaming as a way to bond. These 5 guys became like brothers to me. And to know that something as simple as video games could introduce me to 5 people that I would later go on to call brothers, 2 of which are no longer here with us, you know what I mean? Something as simple as a video game can give me that love for a person to call them my brother, and that pain of losing that person. You know what I mean? It's something that's unexplainable. You know, it's that this one common thing brought us all together, and we're all from different backgrounds. You know, so to me that's pretty special. So that's my fondest memory of gaming. Your next question: what led to your interest in gaming? Well, my sister. My sister started my addiction when I was 5 years old. She bought me my very first Nintendo for my birthday. And it's been downhill ever since. That's all I've been doing is playing games. So I can blame my sister for that one. Next question you had for me was, what message do you have for aspiring YouTubers? Now, I don't know if I'm in any kind of position to give advice or anything like that. But if I had to, the one thing I can say is just be yourself. Because there's so many YouTubers out here that are just copy and paste versions of other YouTubers. Just be yourself. There's an audience out there for everybody. Whatever you like, it may seem, if it may seem like somebody else don't like that, there is something out there for everybody, and your audience will find you. I mean, just look at, if you got bronies, you know, the male fans of My Little Pony, you know, stuff like that. There's an audience for everybody. Now, I'm not knocking nobody for nothing. Whatever people like, they like. Bronies, hey, do what you do, but just be yourself. Your audience will find you. Thanks for the question. Also, that's another thing about gaming. If I'm not wrong, Sergeant Curry Pants, Nikita, she is from South Africa. Now, if it wasn't for gaming, I wouldn't be on Twitter, on this social media. I wouldn't be able to connect with people in other parts of the world, such as yourself, being in South Africa on a completely different continent, and be able to find out about you and the things you like, and vice versa. You find out about me and the things I like. That wouldn't be possible without gaming, because I wouldn't be here without gaming. So that's just another plus on gaming. last and not least, how could I not end on this question? My man, Will Device, this man right here, y'all check him out. He is a social media grinder. He has, what, 3 or 4 Twitter pages, 3 or 4 YouTube pages, and each one does a different task. This man grinds. I respect this man. His question, why are you so dope? And he says, LO, it's actually a great idea. To my response to that question is, well, you know. No, man, I appreciate the support, man. I don't know. I don't find myself to be dope. Like I said, man, in the last question, I just try to do me. You know, I do what makes me happy, and I don't worry about pleasing everybody else. Yes, I do love to entertain people, and I understand the hardest part about YouTube is understanding you will not please everybody. I don't care if you get 100 million subscribers. There's 200 million people on YouTube, or 3 billion, however many there is. No matter how, unless you get a subscription from everybody on YouTube, and everybody on YouTube watches your videos, you will never have that validation. So just, you know, like I said, understanding that you will never satisfy anybody and being yourself, that's what it's all about to me. So that's what I try to do. If you find that dope, man, I appreciate it. Like, real talk, I really appreciate that. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up, because this video is getting to be almost a half hour long. Me talking about myself. But thank everybody. I want to thank everybody who posted questions. You know, like I said, I've always wanted to be engaged in the community. I've always wanted to, you know, just entertain people, but not do it from afar. You know, I want to be involved in everything. If you got a question for me, ask it. I have no problem answering every question. You know, collaborations, anything. I just want to be involved in the community. I'm all about networking. So anyway, guys, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and end this video. Don't forget, guys, if you like the content you just seen, hit that like button, comment, and let me know what you think. And if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. It's your man, Mr. SK, all day, Scrappy Kilmore, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.